Welcome to the channel. I'm Tony the Technician, and today we're going to be going into the Harbor Freight website and checking out some of their best lights. So over the last couple years, Harbor Freight has definitely increased the amount of lights that they have available, and this goes for mobile work lights as well as shop lights and things like that. Today we're going to be looking at 10 of the best ones that I think are worth purchasing. And then I also included 2 other shop lights at the end. So let me know your guys' thoughts down in the comments. Some of these I have used personally, some of them I have purchased for friends, and some of them I've used in the shop. So let me know your guys' personal thoughts if you guys have used them or if you're considering one of these lights. But like I said, Harbor Freight has many other lights. We could be here all day. There's probably over 100 different light options you could select from. So here we're looking at the Braun 845 lumen LED rechargeable underhood work light. And this is their cheapest underhood work light and probably one of the cheapest ones on the market. I used to have the Luminar Works, I think it was called, version of this before Braun they released the Braun version, which it was my first underhood work light, so I thought it was pretty decent at the time until I got an actual decent underhood work light, and it wasn't even a comparison. That was not a great underhood work light. It was not very bright, and it didn't last long as far as battery charge, and you couldn't use it while it was recharging. It took a while to recharge, so that was unfortunate. But it was like $20. 20, or maybe it was this price, I can't remember. It was many years ago, possibly 8 or so years ago. And so they released this one. This one's brighter. You're supposed to be able to use this one while it's recharging, so a nice little upgrade from that one if you're looking for a very inexpensive underhood work light. If you compare this to many of the other more expensive underhood work lights out there, no, it still doesn't really compare. But it's still nice if you're just a weekend warrior, DIYer, that just needs an underhood work light. These are still going to do you pretty decent, especially for $30. This one has 4.2 stars with an 84% recommendation from customers, and it has over 2,000 reviews. There's just a little bit of information on it. So it's got hooks on each end, magnets. They do unscrew from the sides of the light. They unscrew here, and you can kind of move them so the light can dangle from some elastic cords, as you can see there. So for $30, I still think it's a good underhood work light, especially since they improved upon the Luminar Works one that they had before. Next up is an even bigger upgrade from the last. This is the Braun 1200 lumen, so quite a bit brighter. Same thing, LED rechargeable underhood work light, just a little bit different design here. You're not going to have the ends that are dangling from an elastic cord. Basically, you're going to have fixed L-shaped or partially U-shaped hooks on the end that can basically rotate. It rotates 360 degrees as well as outwards and inwards, so it's pretty flexible. This is the same way that the gear wrench underhood work light that I have operates as far as this, and many others as well. It is a nice solid light bar. There you can see the battery life indicator and power button. There you can kind of see how the ends work. This one is quite a bit more expensive, a little bit over double the price at $75, but it is quite a bit nicer work light. I think it's going to last quite a bit longer and work a little bit better than the other Braun one that we just went over. But if you're not looking at spending $75, I still think that first Braun one is decent for any DIY weekend warrior. But this one is definitely a nice light. Let me know your guys' thoughts on this one. This one I do not personally have experience with. Then next up is kind of their high-end underhood work light from Icon. I figured I'd show kind of 3 levels of what they have available at Harbor Freight for underhood work lights. This one being 2100 lumens, so quite a bit brighter than the last one that we looked at. Once again, LED and rechargeable, magnetic 77-inch extendable underhood work light. And this one's kind of set up similar to my gear wrench one as well, where the light is detachable. You can use it. It's got a magnet. Then you can simply just hook it to the mount and place it wherever you want along the mount. And this is the same concept as that. You can take it off. But this one, also being under $100, is a good deal, especially with 2100 lumen output. Here's some of the information on it. It expands from 32 inches to 77 inches. Powerful 2100 lumen output up to 4200 lumens by adding a second light sold separately. 3 brightness levels. Runtime on high is 2.5 hours. Charge time is 3 hours. 360-degree swivel. So all of these being under $100 is very impressive, because just a few years ago, you couldn't find besides that Luminar Works one, you couldn't really find any underhood work lights under $100. A lot of them were closer to the $200 price range. So now Harbor Freight has these to offer, and then if you look on Amazon, there are many others, but I can't attest to those ones. Next up is the Braun 290 lumen rechargeable LED neck light. This is at $23, and these neck lights are actually really handy to have if you don't like wearing a headlamp and you still want to be hands-free. These are really nice because they just sit around your neck. Some of them you can also place around your hat or your head as well if you would like. And these are available from many others as well. Snap-on, I think Matco also has theirs, Easy Red, and a lot of them are the same. These are a little bit different, and these can get a little expensive, but I think for $23 this is a good one to try out to see if you like this type of light. And then if you do, maybe you think you need a higher quality one, then you can step it up from there. But these can be really handy because they just sit around your neck. You can angle the lights wherever you want, if you want one pointing high, one pointing low. Overall, these next ones we're going over a couple of headlamps, so I figured I'd throw this one in there because it is still a nice light to be able to use while working on a car or many other things. The next one we're looking at the Quantum 500 lumen adjustable rechargeable LED headlamp. It's got the elastic bands, you got the band that goes over the top, you got clips for if you have a hard hat, you want to install it on the hard hat. You can see it's got the tilting feature, there are the hard hat clips. 300-foot range, twist to zoom, 500 lumens, like I stated, 11 hours of runtime, three modes, high, low, and strobe. But as far as I can tell, it doesn't state a recharge time anywhere. But still, this one is at $10, so a very good rechargeable headlamp for $10. And then if you're looking for something that's going to be a little bit brighter, this is the Braun 1100 lumen, which is a very bright light for a headlamp. And this one is also rechargeable. I tried to include just rechargeable lights. I don't like battery op or where you have to replace the batteries, because when you're working with these lights you tend to run through some batteries. So having rechargeable ones, it's worth spending the little bit extra money to get rechargeable ones, as it will save you money in the long run, especially if you tend to use your lights. Same thing, you got your hard hat clips, you got that angle there that you can tilt it. The battery pack is actually on the back, as you can see there. Kind of distributes the weight, especially since this one is 1100 lumens. The headlamp itself is quite large. It's got no touch control options. Dual power technology, charges from a USB port, or it uses 4 AA batteries. So as you can see, if you were just to run this off of 4 AA batteries, you could be swapping out 4 AA's quite often. IPX4 rated to withstand harsh conditions, and a 400-foot range with a 12-hour runtime. So even though this one's a little bit pricier than the last one that we looked at $35, I still think that's a really good deal for a bright, good quality headlamp. Next up, we're looking at the Braun 500 lumen LED rechargeable magnetic handheld foldable slim bar work light. It's an extremely long name for a work light. So these are very popular. They became popular a few years back, and I've actually owned one of these, been very pleased with it. I just bought my buddy one for Christmas, and he's really enjoying it. The thing that's nice about this is it does carry an 18650 battery, so if you have any of those, instead of recharging, as long as it's within the correct voltage range, you can just simply swap out the battery. If you have a couple of those on hand, they're pretty easy to find. You can buy them online as well, and pretty affordable. This light is very bright, 500 lumens for a little compact, collapsible, foldable work light. It's great. It's got a magnetic end. You basically have 360 degrees of rotation there with the light. Once again, another rechargeable one. It's got a high and low for the front facing light, and then it has a light on the end of it as well, which isn't the brightest, but it's still nice for those tight situations where you got to get the light up and you're trying to point, up in front of you. It is nice to have that secondary light as well. And at $30, it's a good price, but you can get this on sale for $20. That's when I picked it up, and I think at $20, it's fantastic. Then they have the Icon one. I do not have experience with this one, but this one does bump up to 800 lumens. You're basically getting the same thing, a little bit different hinge here than on the Braun one. This one is also, it also states that this one is IP54 rated. The other one does not state. I'm sure it does have some sort of dust and water resistance to it, I would believe, but I couldn't find any information on the actual product overview. from that light that states anything like that. But that's the main difference. The build quality is a little bit different, but this one is $40. I think if you can get it on sale, I think it's a good price. This is basically around the same price as a lot of the other folding lights that you'll find on the market. So that's why I like the Braun one. It's quite a bit cheaper, especially if you can get it on sale. But this one is a little bit brighter, and these slim lights can be extremely handy to have for working in those awkward situations. And they're still plenty bright if you just want to use it as a surface light underneath the vehicle or underneath the hood. It's still very good. But once again, I don't have experience with the Icon one, only with the Braun. Let me know your guys' thoughts on this light. Then we have the Braun 1250 lumen LED rechargeable battery bank work light. So they have a lot of like the little stand lights, and I was gonna put a couple of those on here. You also got the ones with the big stand or the tripod stand, but I like the output of this. This style of light is still extremely handy, but keep in mind they have a lot of other, stand lights available. But it's impact resistant, USB port, super bright white LED, variable light modes, high and low, kickstand base, up to 5.5 hours of runtime, rechargeable lithium ion. Here you can see some of the information on it. That's kind of really hard to read, but it's basically everything that I just told you. And then there you can see it does have a charging port on the back if you need to use the battery for something else other than the light. There you can see it up with its little kickstand. There's a little bit better picture of it. And it does have a cover over it as well for when it's not in use. So overall, this light's really handy because you can stand it up. You can also lay it on its back if you're working underneath the car. You want area light up. And here's just a little bit of information on it. Basically everything that I've already told you. 2 amp USB port. And at $28, I think that's a good price. But they do have other ones if you guys aren't into this style. Then I figured I'd throw in a pen light. They have many others as well, but a lot of them are battery operated, where this one is rechargeable, and this is the one with the highest amount of ratings with the highest rating. This one has the most reviews with the highest rating, so I figured I'd include this one. This is 4.8 stars with a 97% customer recommendation and 1,784 ratings, and it is 140 lumens, which is decent for a pen light. Some of these can be 50 lumens, 80 lumens. 140 is pretty decent. You can get some brighter ones, but keep in mind this is a pocket pen light. When you get into brighter ones, you're kind of getting into bulkier. Like this one's only 85 lumens, but they do have other ones. Here's the Quantum 200 lumen rechargeable pen light with a UV light, which isn't a bad deal. I don't have any experiences with this one, but I have owned a few of these and they've been great. It is at $20, which is a little bit pricier. I remember I bought a 5-pack of non-rechargeable ones on Amazon, which were great. I think I paid, $15 for 5 of them. But then again, I was running through batteries, so I picked up one of these, and if you can get it on discount, it's still a really good deal. They're pretty durable. I haven't ruined mine or anything like that. Pretty basic little pen light. But now we're moving into some of the shop lights, which Harbor Freight actually has some really good deals. You can find some really good shop lights at Menards, Lowe's, Home Depot, things like that. I have 4 shop lights I have that are all linked together and ran off of a remote, so I can turn them on at any time, and extremely bright. It's nice additional light, so I don't have to use my work lights like we're going over right now as often, because I keep my shop area pretty well lit. And these are very affordable. This one's $23, not on sale. 5,500 lumens each. They're 4 foot. They are linkable. You are limited to how many you can link depending on which one you decide to go with. There you can see the linking connector, or if you don't, I'm sure you could use it to run an extension cord too. But here you can see it linked together with another light. It does have a pull string. You can also get some with motion sensors and things like that. This one is limited to 8. As you can see here, you can link up to 8 lights. Here you can see some of the other ones that they have available. But for this size of light, with 5,500 lumens, they're very lightweight. 30,000 hours of life for $23 is a really good deal. And then the other one that I think is a good deal is this one. This is the Braun 10,000 lumen, which is the brightness Mine are switchable from 5,000 to 10,000. I bought mine at Menards, but just these shop lights are just fantastic. Great additional light. This one also has the pull string. This one's got a little bit wider base. There you can see the connection for linking. And this one is a little bit pricier at $55. So I still think this is a good deal. You can get them on sale, but at $55, at least start looking at the ones at Menards and stuff, because a lot of these shop lights have came down in price. I've had mine for close to 4 or 5 years and they've been great. Haven't had any issues. Very affordable, great light. So that's it as far as the lights at Harbor Freight that I suggest. If you guys have any others that you suggest, please feel free to drop it down in the comments. And I really hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys did, make sure to smash that thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed, make sure to subscribe. And I'll see you guys next time.